Betty Rock, does the name Lonnie Frisbee mean anything to you?
Not really.
Well, it didn't to me either until I saw the new Erwin Brothers film, Jesus Revolution. It's that one that's like faith-based, and it's not the usual like faith-based film. Yes, it's a movie that tells the faith story of Pastor Greg Laurie after meeting this hippie preacher named Lonnie Frisbee. And what's cool is it's kind of all true. It was set in the 60s and 70s during the Jesus movement. And I'm telling you, Rock, you would absolutely love the soundtrack. It's really good. Your dad raised you on that stuff.
What did you like about the movie?
I like that the movie's about a guy searching for identity and inclusion and truth. And even though it's set in the 70s, man, it's exactly what people are looking for today. And the answer is Jesus. It's the same then as it is now. And I also really liked that it didn't paint a perfect picture of the church either.
Really?
Yeah, like it showed men's egos kind of getting in the way of God, and it showed the intolerance of people inside of faith. But it also showed that despite that, if we just get out of the way, revival is possible.
So what did you not like about the movie?
That I wasn't in it. Like that bothered me a little bit. I got to tell you, the Irwins, they cast Kelsey Grammer, and he's great. They got Jesus from The Chosen. I mean, that's a great get, but they could have had me for a whole lot less. But in the end, man, I really thought it was a great movie.
If you want to check it out and hopefully enjoy it as much as Wally did, it's in theaters right now.
Welcome to the Wally Show Aftercast, all the stuff we did not get to during the course of the show today. And from time to time, we have different poddies. You probably know this if you have been here for a while, but if you're not, if you're new, we call our podcast people poddies. And they stop by sometimes announced, because we want to work it out so you can come here and make sure that we're here. And so Christy is actually joining us with her husband, David, today. Now, where are you guys from? Vermont. Okay, you're all the way from Vermont, and you are here because of a new birth in the family?
Yep, our new grandson.
Oh, man. Now, in your email to me about setting this up, you said, we're coming to see the birth of our new grandson. Not sure if we're more excited to meet him or you.
Don't tell him that later.
I have it in writing. And so you've already met the kid, I'm assuming?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, how'd that go? Was it okay?
Oh, it's been amazing, yes.
So I got a lot to live up to here today?
You do have a lot to live up to.
Okay, well, you know what? The good news is you don't have to change me. So
that is the good news, but you're not near as cute.
Yeah, you don't have to change me yet. Every year I get a little closer to that, unfortunately.
AARP card next year, probably.
I know. I'm 54, and I just realized, like,
don't you turn 55
in 8 months?
Here?
Yeah, or no, a couple months, I'll be 55, and I'll start getting a discount for pickleball. I will play for $2 a day.
We were at a golf course the other day, and they said the senior quote unquote age was 57.
Yeah, so I'm getting close.
Also close to that.
I'm getting close to that. Well, thank you for coming in today. It's funny because Christy let me know that years ago, you've been listening to Total Access because she's even wearing her Pure Genius shirt. She made her husband wear his. It's so great. That was a shirt we sold years ago, and it's one of my favorites. Zach actually came up with that. But she reminded me that she had sent me a ton of McDonald's straws, correct?
Yeah, you sent me some because they stopped using the plastic ones there in Vermont. Mm-hmm. They give you the paper ones that disintegrate after a couple of sips.
That's right, yeah.
And it just, I hate those.
I know. Yeah, because this is the bag of paper straws. I still have more. If you need more, you can take these with you, okay?
I guess over in Vermont, they are more, like, earth conscious.
Yeah.
Are you? Is it like a more...
Oh, yeah. Even where we live, you're not even supposed to throw food scraps away. You're supposed to compost everything.
Oh, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like, that's a lot.
But it's good for the planet.
It's crunchy.
There's the irony of it all because I know one time we went to the Nashville airport and I went and got a coffee at Dunkin' and they gave me a paper straw, but it was in this huge plastic cup. Yeah. Like, what is the... I don't understand.
Yeah. That was all from that turtle. That one turtle that didn't know how to use a straw. And then all of a sudden, it went up his nose. I was sad for that turtle. He's fine. Yeah. They taught him how to use a straw. And then now we all can't have nice things because of that turtle. Unbelievable. So, well, there you go. We appreciate you coming in. That's so nice of you to stop by and say hi to us. Do you mind if we do the Aftercast now? Are we good?
No, that would be great.
Okay, fantastic. All right. So here's a weird story. Southwest had a flight. They had taken off and they were going to Vegas. And when they got up in the air, the pilot had a medical emergency, which is kind of weird. And the crew members reported that the captain had stomach pain and had fainted.
Ooh.
And
he had a tender tummy moment,
I guess.
like Gavin.
But what's really weird, this is where the story gets weird. There was an off-duty pilot flying on them, but he worked at another airline. He comes up and flies the plane home.
Well, that's kind of like what happens when you hear them on the loudspeaker and they're like, is a doctor on board, and you're the first
I
one.
raise my hand and go, define doctor. Is it someone that actually has a doctor school thing or like has watched ER?
Because if it's the latter, I'm in.
I can do a tracheotomy with a pen.
I can still do it.
Absolutely. I really do need to go. Like, I love to help. I like to be involved.
You do. You really do. And I saw this firsthand when we went on a trip to Africa recently. Every opportunity that there was for you to help someone, whether you knew what was happening or not, it didn't matter. You just wanted to help.
I know. I'm like that. That's why I think Betty Rock contends that I'm a broken 2 and not an 8 on the Enneagram. And there could be something to
because
that.
a broken 2 goes to an 8 when they're unhealthy. And we definitely see your 8-ness here at work.
But then like my traveling or just in my personal life, try to help people.
You're all about helping to the point where, like, and that's what they said too. I read up on because I didn't know if I was a 2 or a 9 on the Enneagram, and a 9 is a peacemaker. And they said the big difference between the 2 and the 9 is the 9, if there is help, if someone needs help, they will if they're asked.
Oh,
but a 2 helps no matter if they're asked or not.
Yeah.
They're just gonna, push their way in.
Or whether
the
they're qualified or not.
Yeah, and that's you.
Like I remember on that flight where I held the bottle for the lady that was having
the
like a heart issue,
and you held it.
I held it like a champ. I held onto it tight, even through bumps. Like I was not letting that thing go. I was offering her my medicine because I knew what was going on,
and it was for heartburn.
Yeah, no. I'm like, hey, I told the flight attendant, I'm like, look, I think what's going on here is this. I know, based on what you've said, what I've overheard, I think she's having
you are the worst
blood pressure issues. I have clonidine. It's an emergency thing that will take her blood pressure down instantly. I have it right upstairs. If you need it, it's in my overhead bag. If you need it, you let me know and I'll get it.
So can you imagine if you were on this flight with this pilot that was like, now they can't fly the plane, you would have been up there.
I would have saved him first, and then B, I would have flown and landed the plane. No, absolutely.
No,
I
you
would have.
wouldn't. Every passenger would be worse for wear.
I would have just needed someone to tell me what to do. That has a lot of buttons, but I could have done it. Like, just, pull your throttle back to half.
You have so much faith in yourself.
I really do.
You know where everything would be? Like, if they said, do blank.
If he said, okay, take the yoke. I know what that is. That's the steering wheel. Take the yoke, pull back on it to raise the nose. You're a little high, so pull back. Okay, when the nose is a little high, push down. I would have pushed down. Bank left. Yaw left and right. I know that's the foot pedals. I could do this.
You know what? This just occurred to me. My roommate, Nicole, she's trying to earn her pilot's license. And she has a simulated
she does?
flight instructing thing.
Oh, you should.
It'd be so funny if she didn't give you anything. Didn't tell you anything.
I could do it.
And to see, I wonder if you crash it, does it show like fire?
It should. Yeah, it should.
And people screaming.
Bodies like, no. Someone running around on fire. Yeah. No, I think I could do it. Because I grew up flying with my dad. My dad was a pilot.
That was years ago.
I know, but you never, it's like riding, it's like they say, it's like flying a plane. You never forget how.
Is that what you're going to tell the passengers as they're freaking out?
I know it's about a bike.
Are falling from the roofs.
I know that.
Listen, I did this years ago.
Yeah, I would do that. I could figure it out.
Figure it out is not the situation I'd want to hear. Like if over the intercom, they're like, this guy's trying to figure it out.
Yeah, don't panic.
Be worried.
Yeah, don't be worried. It's fine.
If I were on that flight and you raised your hand, I would panic. I would say, people, this is not a man to trust.
Me.
Yeah, this is not a man to trust.
Well, again, okay, we've gotten sidetracked about my greatness, but the weird thing about this is that you would think, okay, in this situation, you have a co-pilot. They have to have a co-pilot. It's a Southwest big flight.
Yeah.
Why didn't that guy land the plane? Like, what's wrong with that guy?
Maybe was he trying to resuscitate help?
I think the flight
guy?
attendants did that. So you're like, okay, do you need 2 people to land the plane? Maybe. I don't think so. I think they want redundancy.
You are 2 men.
Yeah, exactly. I could have done it with one. I could have done it with one hand tied behind my back. I did hear this one time. We did this story years ago on the show. And it was like, what are things to say to like pilots, to make them feel better about their job? Or like, what's a nice thing you can say to pilots? And they say that as you're leaving the plane, if it was a good landing, say, hey, that was a nice landing. Because that's the one big part of the flying process that they still really do. Because so much of it's automated now, but like that's the one part that they're really, really uber responsible for.
What if it was really bad though?
Oh, I don't say anything. Then I'm not a liar. Like sometimes, ooh, that was rough, huh? Like if we've had like a real squirrely one, I go, boy, that was rough on you, wasn't it? Oh yeah, it was. We had a lot of crosswinds. I know, right? Yeah, we had a little bit of wind shear. I thought that. See, I know the terms. But the other day I said, okay, to get around that, the other day when I was getting off a flight, I said, hey, that was the best landing I had all day. It's the only one. And it wasn't that great, but it still made him feel good. It's like, oh, thanks, man. It was a tough one. I said, I know. So anyway, the pilot they said is gonna be kind of fine. They didn't really go into a lot of detail. They're like they released stuff later, like I think he's all right. But they were very thankful for this other guy.
Food poisoning.
It's not overly positive.
Yeah, no, it really wasn't. Let me see. Gwyneth Paltrow. This is really interesting. We talked about her the other day being on trial for a civil case for running into somebody at a ski resort and hurting them, and they're selling. What was the number? Like $3 million?
3.1 million.
Okay, so that's the number that they're being sued for. The judge says you're really only liable for $300,000, and so I think it's interesting because I think she's trying to ingratiate herself into the environment that she's in as a celebrity, because she asked the judge if they could give treats to the bailiffs, if she could bring treats for them because they've treated her so well, but what happened is the defense attorney or the other attorney's like, absolutely not. No, I object because she's trying to curry favor and look good, and her lawyer's like, it's nice.
But if they find out that she even wanted to, it's the thought that counts.
Exactly.
So that was clever of her.
Yeah, that's why I'll buy my wife something expensive that I know she wants but doesn't want to spend the money on, because she'll return it, and then I get the credit for being the good guy, and it doesn't cost me anything.
You really shouldn't. You shouldn't be a pilot, and you shouldn't be a marriage coach.
I don't know, man. I could do both. I could do both at the same time. But yeah, so I guess the judge said, yeah, we can't really do that. But if you want to do it on your own time away from here, you can. So yeah, you're right. She got all the credit for doing something, for being the nice person, and it didn't have really cost her anything. So there you go. Lady Rock, what do you got?
As a kid, if I was asked to do a book report, I was the first one to run to the library and see if there was a movie on it, so I could watch that instead of read the book.
I get that. I've never read a book that a movie was made into, a movie was made into from a book.
Wait, say that again.
Yeah. I said it backwards because I'm dyslexic.
You've never seen a movie?
Which is why you've never read.
Right. I've never seen a movie that was from a book that I know. I've never read a book that a movie was made from.
I still don't know if you got it right.
So it's like if the movie came out and they were like, oh, this is Harry Potter.
The book's better,
You weren't like, oh, let me go read the book.
Well, never read a book.
And two, I know that there were assignments sometimes in school where you had to choose a book, and I purposely chose a book that I knew a movie was made on so that I could watch the movie instead. Like Black Beauty. I never read it, but I watched the movie. And I wrote my project on that.
Tale of Two Cities. Senior year, had to read Tale of Two Cities.
It's boring.
It's a really bad book.
Confusing.
Exactly. I got a cartoon version of this book that I could flip through, and I brought it every day to class. And my teacher, Miss Kelso, it's funny because you think they're like 100 years old when you're a kid, and she was probably like 24. And so I brought this in every day, and I read along with the class, and like she would go to me to read. I'm like, I can't. I only have 30 pages in this, and you have 200 in your book. And so she got so mad at me, and she literally said, she goes, I am going to, and she said in front of the class, I am going to make this test so hard that you will fail. The irony is, I got an 82. I got almost a B in my school. That was a C, but there were A students that failed the test.
Wow.
Yeah,
and 82 was a C?
Yeah, 82 was a C. I went to a private college prep school.
Oh,
yeah.
What was it for you?
I mean, that's a solid B- right there, baby.
Yeah, and D was not passing at my school. Like if you had a 70 was a D, or no, 79 was a D, and it was not passing. And so yeah,
how did you make it?
Terrifying.
I got out of school barely at the end. My senior year, my senior year of my science class, I got was it science? I think it was science. I had to pass one test at the end, and I had to get like an 85 or something, and I think I got like an 86. It was it was so touch and go, and my mom was worried, like, oh my goodness, he's not going to graduate.
It's kind of interesting.
I hated it.
You went to like a college prep school, and then right after high school, you didn't go right to college.
Well, no, because my guidance counselor was like, hey, college isn't for you. You'll fail. And I'm like, oh, well, that's not very inspiring. So I didn't go.
I went to a generic high school in Louisiana.
Yeah.
And they were like, you're totally fine to go to college.
Yeah, and so I did. It altered me. Like, I did not go to school, and then I waited, and then I met my wife when she was in college, and I thought, oh, her stuff doesn't seem that hard. I could probably do this.
Oh, my word.
But for me, I had to be motivated. That was the thing. Like, I was motivated by feeling like I was less than her people and the people she was around, and so I wanted to prove that I wanted to prove. I've always been that way. It's little man syndrome because I'm small.
Napoleon syndrome.
Exactly. I wanted to prove to all these people that I was just as smart or just as good as they were. So I went back to school with a vengeance. Like, I just barely got out of high school. I graduated with honors from college. I graduated with a 4.0 in my master's degree. Like, I went back to school with a vengeance, and I loved it. Like, having long hair and not looking like I should be worth anything, and like getting hundreds on tests while everyone was like failing. I was like, yeah, it felt good. It was less about getting the degree. It was more about proving myself.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds like a speech that you would give your child who's hurting in school.
I even got
like, that's lame, Dad.
I even got asked to go back and do the commencement speech at my high school. Like, how ironic is
how
that?
How desperate were they?
Yeah,
right?
Seriously, everyone else canceled.
You almost like wish the counselor or the teacher was there for you to show up. And,
I know.
Hey, Miss Blah.
Yeah, but I did. I went back and I gave what I thought was a pretty good commencement speech. It was honest.
Well, we're getting off the topic. So,
are we?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Books.
I found this.
How
list.
are we getting off the topic if it's about me?
Right. Wow. I found this list of movies made based on their books, and how most would agree the movie was actually better than the book.
And that's not something that hoity-toity I'm a reader says. The readers in the group always go, "Oh, book's better. Book's better."
I think Harry Potter people say that, right?
Haley would say it. I don't necessarily agree. I think they're both really good, but she was never a book person, doesn't like read well,
she
found the audiobooks for Harry Potter, and it's kind of like it's like halfway between a movie and a book,
that one doesn't really
opinion.
count.
I know,
audiobooks don't count.
Tell her that though. Because she finds the books better than the movies.
Okay. I don't. Okay, Rocky, have you ever seen a movie that you thought the book was better? Because you're a reader. You like to read.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Now, given the movie was still just as good, but To Kill a Mockingbird.
Oh, yeah.
The movie is fantastic, but the book is even better.
I never read that book.
It's really good.
It doesn't seem like a good story. Isn't it? It's like sad though, isn't it? I mean...
yes, it has sad parts, but the relationship between the dad and his daughter and his son, to me,
wasn't the new version of that with Samuel L. Jackson, and then there was like a 50s version, like a black and white or whatever. But then there was
the black and white version. There
was a newer one, but I say newer, it was 20, 30 years ago or whatever.
I didn't even know they made it.
Yeah, and I thought that was good.
Well, anyways, so one of the movies that made the list, so this is the majority of people agree the movie was better than the book, is Jaws.
Really?
Now, who even knew that Jaws was a book?
I did not.
Yeah, like if you're
no idea.
If you're reading this for the first time, you're not hearing this soundtrack in your head. This is what makes Jaws Jaws. Yeah. How would you have done this? Like, if you're reading the book and then a massive shark comes up and you're like, doo 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 doo, or you're like, and there's a big shark, baby shark, doo 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 doo. Like, it's not the same as this, man.
Well, in the book, greed is really the bigger problem than the actual shark is.
Really?
So the movie depicts the town's mayor as someone who actually cares about the public and their safety.
Okay.
But in the book, the mayor has a tie with the mafia.
Oh, what?
And they're pressuring him to keep the beaches open, even though there are shark attacks, because the mafia owned real estate. They don't want it to lose its value.
Oh, that's weird.
The movie ends on a positive note. So if you've seen the movie, you know that while Quint, he falls victim to the shark, Hooper and Brody are able to blow up the fish and get away.
Yeah.
But in the book...
You're going to need a bigger boat.
Exactly. Well, in the book, Hooper falls victim to the shark and Quint is able to kill the shark. So it's the opposite.
Oh.
But he's able to kill the shark with multiple harpoons. In the movie, they made it dramatic where he got like a tank in his mouth and then they blew it up with just one shot.
Yeah.
Well, in the book, Quint is able to kill the shark with multiple harpoons, but he still falls victim when he realizes one of the harpoons is wound around his leg,
and then he gets
and then he is dragged to the bottom with the dead shark,
Okay.
leaving with Brody the only survivor.
You know what? I
goodness.
like that. I like that ending. That's better.
I'd rather not.
Like the shark. The movie is like it's terrifying at first, and I know people that saw this and would not go in the water.
I wouldn't
after
even
that.
go in a pool.
Yeah, I know. And so
I was
like,
scared of lakes after this movie.
they do a good job at terrifying you there, but then when they start showing the shark up close, you're like, oh, that's a
the real animatronic.
It's not like
shark.
perfect, but they did a good job.
Back
like
in the day.
For the time, it was the
Yeah.
best they could do, you know. But like the Jaws 2 is really horrible.
And
They
Jaws
shouldn't have done
3,
that.
I think he broke out of the glass of an aquarium.
Yeah, Jaws
somehow.
3 is ridiculous. Like, just let it go. Like, that was
Right.
one you should have just stopped.
Another movie that was better than its book is Die Hard.
Oh, absolutely.
Didn't even know.
Go to the coast. We'll get together. Have a few laughs.
Well, in the movie, Bruce Willis plays the main role as a 30-something-year-old John McClane. In the book, Bruce's character is actually an elderly retired cop and a World War II vet.
Oh, what?
Yeah, he's a lot older. In the movie, John McClane kills the bad guy and reunites with his ex-wife to
Yeah.
drive away and start a new life.
So good.
Well, the book has a way more depressing ending.
Oh, no.
McClane loses his daughter to the terrorists in
what?
the whole debacle.
What,
Yes.
What does he think he is? Liam Neeson? Like, Liam Neeson couldn't keep anybody in
I will
his
find
life.
you and I will kill you. But no, his daughter actually dies in the book. And as he's leaving the scene of the crime, so now he's going out to the police, a surviving terrorist comes out of the building,
No.
opens fire on
No.
McClane, and he is hit, lies injured in the parking lot, and that's where the book ends.
Was there a sequel book?
I don't know.
Oh my goodness.
But that's how the book ended.
Yeah, that's not how you end a movie. That's the tricky thing with Hollywood endings. Like, you want it to end different, and you're like, oh, I hate all that happy ending. It's always trite. It's always the same. But then when a movie steps out of that, and like the main character dies, you're like, I hate this.
Right.
I feel icky. I want it to be like what I want in my head. You know.
Right. Well, we were even saying that earlier about a movie that we had both watched, and you said at the end, like, and the movie ended where it wasn't a happy ending.
Right.
The guy was like, he didn't end up with the girl that he wanted. You're
Yeah.
like, what in the world? And we make fun of Hallmark films where they like bump into each other at the tree farm, and they're just.
But I needed it. I
but
needed it
it's
to
like,
end that way.
We make fun of it, but actually we need it because that's just how a movie is
We're not
supposed to end.
built to like take bad endings.
No, but
no.
books do that pretty
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
That's
obviously.
interesting. I didn't know that Die Hard was ever a book. I couldn't see that being on like a bestseller list, you know?
No, I couldn't
oh,
either.
man. Well, there you go. Lady Rock, you got some birthdays?
I don't, but I do have a question. Let's
do it.
Anna and Nora, their question is, it's kind of a scenario. What would you do if you saw Jesus watching TV on your couch?
Okay. You saw Jesus watch. So you walk in, like you're behind him, and you see him watching TV.
You walk into your house and you're like, oh, there's Jesus sitting on the couch watching your TV. What
Okay.
would you do?
All right. You'd be like, huh, that's interesting. I didn't know we were allowed to watch Game of Thrones. You know? I don't think Jesus would watch Game of Thrones.
No.
Probably not.
No.
No.
What about you, Gavin?
Well, I think it'd be ironic because I'm picturing him coming in and watching like The Chosen, or if like, you know, he's watching
You're watching a biography.
Jesus Christ Superstar, singing
that,
along
or
to
what's
it.
the really bad or dark one where
Oh,
like literally his crucifixion
yeah,
movie.
what was
Oh,
that
the
one?
Passion of the
Yeah,
Christ.
Yes.
what if I walked in and he's just
why
watching
would you
that?
want to watch that?
I'm
Relive
like,
the worst day of
see
your
him like
life.
crying or something. You're
Yeah.
like, oh, dude, are you okay? Like, do you want a hot pocket? Like,
Yeah.
I'd offer it. That's one
you
thing
want
I would
a
do.
Hot
I'd
Pocket?
offer him a snack.
Okay, label this one offering Jesus a hot pocket.
Okay.
For sure. You know, I don't know. If he didn't already have a bowl of popcorn ready for me, I would be a little offended because I would assume he knows me before I even say what
But
I
what
need
if
to
he
say.
knows that you don't need said popcorn? Like he's looking out for your heart health or something.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because he would know that
Well,
too.
then I would say,
Well-
well, then why did you create popcorn?
Why'd you create heart
Here's the
problems?
good thing for Betty. Like if Betty walked in, because I know that she watches all the crime things,
Oh, I would
she
do,
could walk
yeah.
in, plop down next to him, and go, "Okay, how did it really end?" You know, like 'cause,
Or
like,
spill the tea.
Yeah, what did Murdaugh really do?
Yes.
You know?
Yes, I would.
Watch every murder mystery.
And that's what's funny too is like it can swing from both ways. Like I'll watch Dateline in 2020, but then I'll also go to Disney Plus and I'll watch a Little Mermaid or the $101 Dalmatians.
Truth be told, like after watching something scary at night, I have to watch something. I'll go to ridiculousness or something like that, like a funny show.
What do you think God would be thinking about watching ridiculousness?
You're
watching my children faceplant on concrete.
He'd be
It's
like,
already happened.
You know what? That one, that one deserved it. Didn't like that one.
Do you think he laughs up in heaven when we do that?
Has to. I mean, this is the same.
Has to?
Yeah, this is the same.
The guy has to have a sense of humor.
When you think about it, this is the same God, and I don't mean to be flippant here, but this is the same God that made gas. You know, like he could have done anything else other than that, but two things: made it audible and smellable. Like and instantly kids, when they are like even 1 year old, they understand the humor
and they laugh at
get it. Like the
bathroom humor is the first thing they understand.
So he has to understand humor. Or else, I mean, think about how comedy is a big part of all of our lives. He has to understand irony and comedy and tragedy. I think he understands all those very well. So there you go. A very different
we'll find
look.
out.
A very different look at faith on this one here.
Do you guys think there will be TV in heaven though?
No.
I just don't picture that being a thing.
No, there won't be TikTok either.
Hopefully we won't care.
I'm so depressed. Like, really? Why do we have to do this?
And if it is TikTok in heaven, it's going to be just a bunch of super nice things happening.
Yeah, no one's going to fall.
Okay, we're getting off topic.
Sad.
So here we go.
Weekend plans.
Everybody's got a weekend plans.
Oh, yeah.
Forgot. I feel like we haven't done this in forever.
It feels that way. Okay, weekend plans. I have a wonderful Saturday planned.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
You do.
Watch your verbiage.
Yeah, it's the anniversary of my wife's dad passing away, and she had asked me because I got like a dirt bike and I wanted to go riding. I like to ride on the weekends when I can, and she had asked me and she said, "Hey, I know that you want to ride, but this weekend is there any way you could not, because it's going to be an emotional weekend for us." Absolutely. Yeah. We could maybe try to do both, and no, I said absolutely not. Not a problem at all. And so we're going to go and do, basically, I think what we're going to do, her dad had certain restaurants he loved, and like all the ladies knew him, like at all these things. Like he would go to Cracker Barrel, and he would, and so they all knew him. He would go get pie at different places. And so we're going to make a tour of all the places he liked. And so we're going to go eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner at the places he liked. So I thought that was cool.
What's breakfast?
Probably Perkins, but we got to drive an hour to get to Perkins.
I do love Perkins, though. They have great pie.
Yeah. And then some Cracker Barrel, and then probably Olive Garden at night.
Great time.
That's cute.
To me.
Yeah.
That's a cute way to remember him.
I think it'd be good, too.
Yeah.
And so... And I worked on, I cut a video of his service at Arlington, and it was really good, man. I was so glad I went. I didn't want to go because I knew she was going to be upset, and like, how do you deal with that, you know? And I can't fix it.
Right.
And so I built this video of the whole service kind of down to like 2.5 minutes, and I was real happy with how it came out. So I think we're going to start the day by playing that for her. She doesn't know about it. And so do that, then do all the other stuff. And then her dad used to love to test drive Lexuses, and so I thought we should go to a Lexus dealer, just test drive a Lexus.
Did you
for
tell
no
her that?
reason? Yeah.
Did she say yes?
I don't know. I think I think we might do it. It could be funny.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
Yeah, I'd love to waste the salesman's time.
Sir, I'm not here to buy a car. My wife just needs to drive this.
I might just be honest with him. Go, look, I'm not the guy that you're going to sell a car to today, but do you want to do something good? Do you want to do something good for someone?
Do you want to make someone's heart happy?
Exactly. So anyway, Lady Rock, weekend plans.
Hanging out with some friends, probably going to grab dinner, maybe play some games, whatever. But then on Saturday, I am going to go see my mom and dad.
Oh, good.
It's the first time I'll see them since we got back from Africa. So that'll be good to just hug their necks. And Mama's going to make a home-cooked meal. So that's always good. I don't know what she's making, but it doesn't matter. Everything she makes is good.
It'll have butter and salt, I guarantee you.
Yep. And then I'll show them some of the pictures that we took while there and kind of share some stories with them. So that'll be fun.
Nice. That's good.
Get to catch up with them.
That's good. Gavin, what do you got?
So my wife and I were trying to figure out what we were going to do this afternoon, and it looks like rain is hitting a little sooner than expected today because we were going to go on a hiking trail, and we're going to go to an antique shop that she loves.
Fun. Where's that at?
It's in Hermitage.
Okay.
And I think it's called the Phoenix Market.
Okay. Tell me how it is, because I love doing that stuff.
We love this place. We've got a few pieces of furniture that we got from there, and we have nothing that we want. But I know she loves going over there, and there's the golf course I go to a lot is like right next to it. We were talking about maybe doing both of those things, but rain. So she told me, "Hey, tut, it looks like rain. No hiking." So I'm still assuming
I like
we're
that
going.
she said tut tut. It looks like rain from Winnie the Pooh.
Well, I was super confused at first because
That's what it's from.
it is tut tut tut.
Yeah,
Like,
tut tut looks like rain.
It's so cute.
Who says that?
Winnie the Pooh.
Tut tut. It looks like rain.
It looks like rain. Yeah.
But so
Leia, let me know how that goes. I like. Going to antique stores is getting sadder for me, though, because I like doing it and I like finding things to repurpose. But when you're like, oh, I had that. I had that. Like,
that's
you're
what
like,
age does.
yeah, you're like, oh my gosh, all this stuff is from my childhood. Like, oh, this is so sad.
That's almost as bad as like turning on the oldie station and they play your
Yes, or like when I found like there was a classic rock that really rocks, and you're like, oh, classic rock. Let's go back to the 60s or 70s, and they're like, here's
2001.
Rat. You're like, oh, gee, you know,
Creed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, what a drag.
Yeah.
As bad as that is for me, that's got to be worse for Scott Stapp.
Oh,
you know,
yeah,
like
for
from
sure.
Creed. You know,
With arms wide open.
yeah, he's on an oldie station now. Oh, so bad. All right, well, I think that's going to do it for your Aftercast.
And as always...
Well, no. Let me get this. Okay, going to golf. And
as always...
Golf and...
no golf.
Antique store. You were going to driving range.
No, it's raining.
Okay, well, your
Did
antique
you even
store.
listen?
No,
Do
I did. You said that.
I did say that, but we
You
had
said
thought
tut
about
tut,
going.
no rain, Winnie the Pooh.
Rain means no hiking. Means no golfing.
But it
probably.
might not rain, so you might be able to get those in.
I'm going to keep an eye on it because I would.
There, see?
I like to golf enough that I would still do it, but
Betty Rock.
probably not.
Games
as always-
Mom and Dad. Okay, I'm just committing this to my brain because my wife will ask me the second I get home, what
Do
are
you
they
want me
doing? Like, just listen to the podcast, woman.
Do you want me to tell you the rest of the things I'm doing this
No, I
weekend?
do not.
Just
I
to,
don't.
like,
No,
up it?
I just barely remember
I'm
what I got.
also helping a friend move. Also going to a soccer game tomorrow night. And then on Sunday, nothing.
Okay, you're going to a soccer game?
Yeah.
Like
It's for a friend's birthday.
MLH, whatever, MSL, Major
Don't
League.
try.
ML,
I won't even try.
Major League
Don't.
Soccer, MLS.
Yes.
Okay, MLS.
I don't think it's important enough to correct you on that because I also don't care.
No, soccer's the worst.
It is.
Like who goes to soccer games? Like who has professional soccer teams? Like it's
Our
just,
city.
Yeah, but I mean, who cares? No, I guess
a lot of the world.
Yeah, the world. But
Yes, but you
when do
missed
we
the
ever
point.
follow the rest of the world? We're
And-
number one because
And
we're
you
in
missed the
America because we have
point.
football.
Wally doesn't care, so in
know.
essence, no one should care.
Thank you.
That's your thought process.
Thank you for getting me.
No, I
You
don't.
do. You get me.
I
Not
really
an
don't.
I appreciate that.
No,
Don't care. But
And
thank you.
as on that note, thanks for being a potty.